surprised and happy, which is great because that's ideally how we want to feel when we are struggling with mental health. As far as I know, I believe everybody wants to reach happiness and joy, and we do everything in our power to get there, right? Welcome to the replay. If you guys are joining after I have gone live, this is not my typical Monday hangout. This is typically when I'm over on Amazon Live, and it is Mental Health Month, and I decided that I was gonna just start talking more about things and people, not people, but like talking to people about things and encouraging you guys this month as I am walking through some mental health struggles and real life. Hey guys, hey Sam, hey Stephanie, hey Tammy, hey Gigi, hey Claudia. Hey guys, talking gets rid of the stigma. Cheryl, that is so true. Like, it is so extremely true, and I have decided that I'm just gonna go with the flow, because sometimes I wake up in a great mood and sometimes I wake up overwhelmed. And yes, there are many, many, many things that I can do in my power to help me find happiness and find joy in life, but it's not necessarily always that. Hey Tiff, I definitely need a mental health check-in. My heart is broken today, and Tiff, I'm reading this. Yeah, so I'm here to check in on you, but I'm also here to just be real today. I have struggled being on the internet, and I'm just gonna be honest, like in this video, I have struggled being on the internet because I love the idea of being able to compartmentalize and do something that makes me very happy, like crafting, and share that with the world and uplift people. And I didn't read that whole comment, by the way, so I saw something about that, but I would just kind of want to keep this very general and not go into too many like details on issues right now, but just be uplifting and real. So I talked to Stephanie about this yesterday. We had such a good meeting, and she actually let me know that a lot of people were talking to her about how they liked that I talked about mental health. And I'm just always so worried because I, as an empathetic person, never want to make anybody feel bad. And I feel like some of the stronger people in this world are usually that. We often struggle alone because we feel pain, and we don't want others who are in our same boat to feel pain. But in reality, we would never want somebody not to share with us because we were going to feel that pain. We want to walk alongside them. And am I right? Like, where are my empaths at? Raise your hand if you're an empath. So if anybody doesn't know what an empath is, it's literally somebody who feels the pain of somebody, even if they've never been in their shoes. And as an empath, I can say we can't fully imagine what pain feels like for certain people who've lost people, lost children, lost their parents, lost, obviously we never walk through the same exact story as everybody else, but we all know that, we all know that we can feel that if as an empath, that we can feel that. So we got a lot of empaths here, and I assume I attract a lot of empaths because I'm an empathetic person, and that's just how life is. We typically attract the people who are similar to us, and so I decided I would talk about it. And I am not at the studio right now. I shared this in my stories because they sprayed. I emailed the people, they sprayed for bugs, and I emailed and I said, did you guys spray for bugs? Because it stinks up in here. And they were like, yeah, we did, but it's a all plant-based chemical, so I don't know, like, if it was just like me being afraid and then my body wigging out because I was afraid that I was exposed to so many chemicals. So I'm just taking the day away from the studio, and I'll go back tomorrow. I have been overhauling the studio. And I feel like a mad person when I'm in there right now, because I'm like moving things around, and I get it somewhere, and I'm like, I don't like it, and then I move it again, and just the amount of times I've moved things in the studio, the amount of things I need to get rid of that I've held onto for the last 6 years of having a DIY business, just has kind of hit me, like, just get rid of some of this stuff. Just don't hold on to these things. We've got other projects we can work on. We've got other things we can do. And so we just want to we have a big project we're working on next week with April, and I just want that to be like amazing. But also, you're here and you raised your hand to being an empath, and I know, like, you're not going to care, but for inside my reality, I'm like, I want my studio to be this amazing place where I can literally compartmentalize and go to it and be whole and be awesome, and then go home and fall apart if I need to. And that is just not reality. Like, that is not reality. And I know, April, and I know God is bringing you on this project because I know you're the most, like, just humble human being, like hardworking, humble human being. And I'm like, it's not like, I'm bringing in this person who expects this from me. So getting the she shed up and running it so slow is driving me. Yeah. So, I mean, I've been attempting to start this She Stays homepage, and we were supposed to do a photo shoot yesterday and shoot our house. And it's just, guys, renovating a house is not fun. Like, it is not fun. But I'm just really, like, I just took some quiet time this morning, and I actually pulled over and stopped by the river, because grateful we live by a river. And I just started thinking and, like, trying to be grateful. And God just reminded me, like, a home renovation process is like the personification of what I do on you and on people in this world. I take something that is dilapidated and ruined, and I put love piece by piece by piece into it. And there are moments when there are little things about you that I don't think I drive God nuts. I don't think anybody drives God nuts. I know he's a lot more patient than we are, but he just reminded me of that. Does it feel good? No, not always when I'm going to be looking at those projects, but I'm just really trying to, like, give myself grace and allow myself to be a real human being, like, and have real struggles and have real life. And how do I cross that onto the internet without feeling like, I don't know. And you guys are some of the most closest people I think of. Like, when I want to talk to somebody, I'm like, all the people on the internet that I talk to, that I Zoom with, that are part of my membership, that I talk to often, like, some people in my real life, like my personal life, don't understand that. And so I'm like, you know what? That's another thing I kind of struggle with, is like, what are the people who come across my videos going to think when they see me pouring my heart out to people, and they don't know how important you guys are to me. Yeah, so share your struggles in this, and I'm going to go over all of them and read them. So if you feel like you need to not read them out loud, I'm going to pray over them. That is what I'm going to do. So if you need prayer and you need something, just comment it on this, and I'm taking a mental health day. I am going to literally go fill in my bubble journal and back it up with prayer requests and write them down. I also am going to be making a bubble journal page for love languages for my friends. I encouraged my small group last night to ask their friends what their friends' love language is, so you can love your friends well. And that's going to be a page that I put in my bubble journal. So I'm also going to put your guys' prayer requests in my bubble journal as well, and I'm just going to pray over them today. Yeah, just keep them coming. I will read them. So I am honest to a fault. You guys know that. And so for me to struggle in real life and then compartmentalize can be easy, but to a degree, I'm like, there's moments when I'm just like, I don't want to craft. I don't want to make a craft. I'm done. Like, I don't want to. I told Stephanie this yesterday. I was like, sometimes it just feels really dumb when you're like, okay, the whole world is falling apart. Let's go make Mickey Mouse stickers. Like, what? Do I live in denial? Maybe. Do I like it? Yes, sometimes. But sometimes I don't want to do that. People don't get why I feel you guys are my friends, and people will never understand until they're a part of it. And I don't actually have a lot of crafting friends in person. So I have a few, but some of them have full-time jobs. So it's like, you want to come craft with me? No, you have to work. Okay, I got to work too, but I'm crafting while I work. So, you guys, that's one of the reasons why I love coaching you guys as business members, is I'm like, hopefully one day you guys will be full-time crafters too, so you can hang out with me whenever I need you to. Yes, I will get May stickers together for the Bujo. I'm actually sitting right outside of Michael's, and I'm going to go get a Cricut for my house. And yes, I have 3 Cricuts at the office. Do I need them at the office? Yes. And so I was like, why do you need another Cricut? How extra do you need to be? But what I'm doing at home is I'm setting up my personal, it's actually just for planning. Like, planning is my happy place. Planning is not the place where I work, even though I sell planners. Crafting totally helps with depression. Crafting helps with therapy. Crafting is cheaper than therapy sometimes. Honestly, is it? No. And actually, therapy is a different form of help. And crafting is great for helping you get through tough moments, but there's so much to seeing somebody who can see from the outside and give you tools and help you so that you can cope with life and work through things. And I recommend therapy 100%. I was raised by my grandmother, who's no longer here on earth, but she started, after she retired, she was raising me, and she started a therapy, basically a nonprofit therapy place called A New Legacy, and it was for children who struggled with drug and alcohol abusive families. So I'm pretty sure she used me to do that because she wanted to continue working, because she loved working, but she also wanted to incorporate me into my life, into her life, and she did this. And I'm forever grateful, because I grew up every day after school basically going to therapy. When she died when I was 17, I was left without a personal therapist for my entire life. Like, I had a personal therapist my entire life. And it did wonders for me as a human. Like, it just did. And now we have paid for therapy, but I have never paid for personal therapy. And now Dustin and I go to a marriage family therapist, and it has just been so helpful. And I suggest going to therapy before anything gets bad. I suggest premarital counseling. I suggest therapy, and all the time. All the time. I know it can get expensive, but if there are programs that help you get free therapy, there are programs, there's a lot of churches that offer free therapy. So, but not all therapists are the same, and you can try them out. And I know it can get daunting because it takes a while to get comfortable and safe with a therapist. So, aligning kind of like what you want first before you find or seek out a therapist is kind of important. Like, we searched for a Christian marriage family therapist who dealt with specific things that we were needing. For us, it's communication. Communication is one of the biggest issues in marriage, finances, and intimacy. And we struggle with communication. So obviously finances, we have been there. We have done that. I don't know if anybody knows our story. A lot of you guys do, but we struggled hard financially in our first decade of marriage, and God worked through that. And through that, we've been able to help many, many people with the help of Dave Ramsey. Sorry, we've been able to help Dave Ramsey help many people. I'll say Dave Ramsey has done it, but God has done it. Used Dave Ramsey, and also has used us. So with that, I highly encourage, work on yourself with other people and have professionals help you. And right when something gets peeled off, right when you finish that one house project, another house project is going to show. So our pool got finished, and all it does is make the outside of our house look really ugly. So that was like, I'm a very metaphorical person. So I try to always flip something to the positive if my brain is not feeling it. And the pool, I shared it on my stories that we had an issue with our plaster company dumping plaster into our drainage, and it kept dusting up till midnight, having to shovel concrete out of our neighbor's yard. And it was just a lot of things that we were like, this is unnecessary. But it can build some resentment towards some of those things. Like when you are looking at something that you worked really hard on, you can often think back to how hard that actually was to finish and all the arguments that happened in the middle of finishing it. And maybe it didn't turn out exactly like you wanted it, but in the end, what did we learn through it? What did it do for us? And that's what home renovation is for us. And honestly, our arguments are often mostly around home renovation. And I can run away to my beautiful business that I just love so much. That feels very selfish when I'm enjoying my business so much, when personal things are just frustrating. I know that you guys have all been commenting. I don't necessarily want to read these out loud because I know other people are going to watch the replay of this, and I just want you guys to feel uplifted and encouraged today. So if you feel comfortable after this is up on the internet and you want to post it in the comments, you can. Otherwise, the live chat, I will go in and I'm going to be praying over those. Yes, we all need help and prayers. My membership's at auntie.com. You can check it out. I'm redoing the homepage. I started doing that this morning, and I didn't start. I was working on that this morning. I've been working on it for a long time. So homepage is going to switch over pretty soon, and I hope it's helpful. And I'm making a video on how to use the membership, which, again, with that perfection thing, like I haven't done it because I'm like, I want my membership to be perfect before that. We did premarital class with our church, including our love language. It helped us so much. Yes. The biggest books I recommend for life in general, the Bible, okay? And I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear the Jesus stuff, but I'm coming in here with the Jesus stuff. So the Bible is literally the number one book that is going to help you with every single problem in your life. Next book would be, I'm going to say Boundaries. Next. Boundaries, and there's 3 versions. Boundaries with kids, and Boundaries with marriage. And I give them away often, so sometimes I give them away and then I want to give another one away. So I need to order them in like packs of 10, because it's like if someone knows I offer them boundaries, I hope they do not feel centered, like pinpointed, because I literally give that book to everybody. Just had the conversation with my mom, with my sister yesterday about it. Like, boundaries. Most important thing. The thing I'm working on right now is boundaries with my emotions. I didn't even know that was a thing. But Dustin called it out yesterday, and I was like, duh. Like, I cannot hurt for everything. I cannot stress about everybody. And yeah, I'm going to pray over you guys, but I'm going to give that to the Lord. I'm not going to stress over it. I'm going to give it to the Lord, because guess who can do something about it? The Lord. I also got to go to a wedding on Saturday, and I told you guys it did not feel good when I was there, and it was such a blessing because I got to sit with somebody who I haven't seen in years, and she told me all about how COVID created this anxiety in her, and she went to doctor after doctor after doctor, and then she realized, I have a God that I can give this to, and then she gave it to the Lord. So, boundaries. Next one would be my total money makeover. I'm going to put that after that. If you do not know how to handle your finances and manage your finances and tell them where to go, your mental health is going to struggle. Okay, your mental health is going to drive you insane. Your relationships are going to struggle. You're going to struggle. And then you're going to have financial stuff on top of it. So it is literally so important to learn how to manage your money. And I'm going to hand that off to Dave Ramsey and say he has a great program. If you have not read his book, start there. If you want to plug into a Financial Peace University class, find one near you. Go to their website. They have them all over the place. They have them online now. Do it. And if you have a spouse, do it with them. If they don't want to do it, try to convince them to do it with you. Everything works better in relationships when you do it together and you're both on the same page. The next book is Love Languages. That helps for everybody in your life. And like I said in the beginning of this, find out whose love language, your close people in your life, find out their love language, because you are going to have seasons in your life when you need to be there for those people, and then they're going to have seasons in their life when they can be there for you. And that is how the Lord works, and I've witnessed it so many times. I am strong when others are not, and that's because the Lord fulfills those moments, and then they are strong when I am not. And He really, and I don't like want to promise any of this, but in marriage I've seen this, in friendships I've seen this, He really does a good job of allowing one to be strong while the other one is broken. And can anybody testify to that? Raise your hand. I feel like I'm preaching today. The next book, well, okay, we are currently reading a book, so I'm not going to put it on my top 5 yet until I read it. It's How We Love, and that's the one we're reading right now. So I will update you guys later on how it is. Dustin has been loving it. He's much further than I am. Pastor Kevin Meyer's awesome book. Second Happy. Raised hand. So, guys, if you're struggling, give it to the Lord first of all. I don't care where you are in your walk with the Lord. If you don't even know Him, if you do know Him, wherever, He's there to listen to you. The second would be drink water. That's why I brought this. Well, you want to spend time with Him and get to know Him and get to know what He thinks of you, because, okay, and this is something that I've realized that a lot of people, whenever I talk about this, they don't realize how much of a spiritual battle a lot of the things that we deal with are. I'm really into spiritual battles. I'm really into the spiritual realm. So, I talk about it often, and then I realize not everybody does that. And when I talk about these things, like, have you ever had thoughts in your head that say you're not good enough, you're not worth anything, everything you do is pointless, you're stupid, you're ugly, you are not liked by anybody, you're not loved? Please don't listen to these or think that I'm saying these at all. You're weird. Everything you do sounds weird, comes off weird. The way people are looking at you is awkward. They're looking at you because you're weird. They're looking at you because you're... I've met so many people who you would never know that they have these thoughts. You would clearly know they have these thoughts because they talk about it and make it well known. And then there's people who just kind of are like, I don't really care, but in the reality, they still have those thoughts. You know you've had every single one of those thoughts, because it's spiritual warfare, and Satan has no new schemes. None. So that is why I can literally read your mind, because I have a God who's told me what the enemy is going to do. And I know exactly what he's doing to me, and he might do it a little differently, but he's got nothing new to use. And he uses it against you, and he uses it against me. So what I say is find out what God says about you, okay? Because God's going to tell you that all of those things are lies, because they are, that you do matter. First of all, he's going to say your looks and your looks don't even mean anything. So I kind of struggle with that one, because I'm like, okay, we're just going to fall apart and we all get ugly, and that's cool. We just got to deal with it. Like, God doesn't say you're not ugly. He just says that part doesn't matter. So work on your heart, work on your attitude, work on your personality, not your person. I hate saying personality, because your personality is who you are. Work on your manners, work on your kindness, work on the way you receive things, work on the way you give things, work on the way you bring light and bring who you were created to be into this world. Work on that first. Put some makeup on if you feel like it, but it's not really what matters. Yes, only God can judge us, and that's the hard part, is sometimes we're like, do we really want him to judge us? Because he might start peeling back some of those layers that we're not happy about. And that's what therapy can help do. That's what talking about it helps do. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, so grow in faith. You pulled me up Monday. The devil is putting lies in my head to not let me move forward, but you called him out Monday. Yeah, it is not new, and he doesn't like that when we learn these things. If you haven't read Screw Tape Letters, It's by C.S. Lewis, and it's one of my favorite books. I don't have it in my top 5 because I know, although I should. Screw Tape Letters, raise your hand if you've heard of Screw Tape Letters. Has anybody heard of it? It is one of my favorite books, and I've actually been encouraged to do something with that book, and I'm not going to say it unless I can actually finish it, and I really, really want to finish it. Yes, I will add them to my Amazon shop. So Screw Tape Letters is, and if you're into the spiritual world and you like to know more about how the enemy attacks and how the enemy does things in our lives and how the enemy wants to pull you and break you down in his schemes, this book, this book was written a long time ago. I'm not going to say the year because I don't know exactly. It's written by C.S. Lewis, the same guy who wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. He wrote a bunch of other books too, but he wrote this book, and it is letters from Uncle Screwtape to his apprentice nephew, and his apprentice nephew is a apprentice demon, basically working on a newly found Christian man. And the letters are all from Uncle Screwtape's point of view. So you get to know what the apprentice is doing because Uncle Screwtape addresses them in his letters. So he's writing to his nephew, coaching him on how to become a better demon in this person's life. And it is just so good. I highly suggest it if you want to know more on how Satan works. It's written a little bit more classy wording, but it's also on YouTube audio version. So if you want to listen to it, it's on the audio version. It is just such a good way of it's almost like stealing the playbook of the other team. When you have the playbook of the other team, you know exactly how they're going to try to come at you, and you know exactly how to defend yourself. The best way to defend yourself is Ephesians 6, though, to put on the full armor of God. So if you don't know how to do this is probably, I know I'm like trying to rank these things and like how to get around mental health or whatever, work through mental health, but the armor of God is what the Bible tells us that is our weapon against the enemy. So first, we know how the enemy works because we've read Screw Tape Letters, or we are learning about it. And then we have armor, and the Ephesians 6 walks through that if anybody wants to walk through it. But basically it lets us know that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and the authorities of the dark world. And that will help you any day squash an argument with somebody. If you're just like, I just am so mad at this person, if you can just instantly take it and go, the enemy is trying to tear somebody I love apart and tear me apart from them. Your battle is against the spiritual realm, not flesh and blood. So first, acknowledging that there is a spiritual realm and it is imposing on our mental health is extremely important to battle. So acknowledging that, because that's where Ephesians 6 starts. Acknowledging that, and then where do we go to fight these things? We put on armor. Okay? We put on a helmet of salvation. We stand with a helmet knowing that we are saved no matter what. There's nothing that the enemy can do that will ever take that away from us. The belt of truth, because we live by the truth and we know the truth. We just talked about the lies. We know the truth and we need to live by the truth. The shoes fitted with readiness. If you're being called to do something, do it, because God's working in you and God is doing something, so do it. The helmet of salvation, the shield of faith. Having faith in the Lord is going to take a lot of that pain off of you, because it's going to repel it. When you put that shield up, it doesn't even get to your internal organs. The breastplate of righteousness, that is your heart. That is your relationship with the Lord. How are you working on your relationship with the Lord? Are you praying? Are you asking Him to work in you? Are you listening to Him? Are you using those shoes to walk with Him? The belt of truth. What did I miss? Oh, the sword. Duh. The only way so all of those elements are, I'm going to say the shoes and the sword are the only elements of defense. All the other parts are elements of offense. So, the other way around. All the other elements, your helmet, your belt. Well, your belt holds everything together, so it is. So your belt, your breastplate, your shield, and your helmet are all forms of how the Lord works for you. So get connected with Him. The sword and the feet, the shoes, are your part. How do you do this? Your feet fitted with readiness, be willing to do what the Lord is asking you to do. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word. The sword, is it the sword of Spirit? Sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Lord. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, it's the sword and it's the word, which means it's the Bible. So when you read the Bible and you put that stuff in your heart, you know how to fight this stuff off. So let's start with those lies. We all have them. You're all battling them. How do you defend yourself from them? You let the Lord do the work by putting Him on daily, and you drink your water and you read your boundaries, and then you take that sword, and when it's ready to fight because your shoes are being called to battle, you take that sword and you stab the enemy with the word. Not with your own strength, but with the word. So that is how you do it. And we eat healthy and we drink water because those help our mental chemicals stay in balance and all those things. Therapy, and accept when we are struggling with something and talk about it, and only have safe people in your life that you talk about things with. That's a really important thing. Having people in your life is important. Having everybody in your life is not important, and having certain people in your life that you open up to, extremely important. Join small groups, get together with close personal friends, be friendly. This is what I teach my kids. Be friendly to everybody, be friends with some. Okay, so friendly to everybody, friends with some. You need to be, yes, Ephesians 6, 10 through 18. Don't miss out on the part of our battles not against flesh and blood, though. So I encourage you guys to read Ephesians 6 today if you guys want to learn more about that. Yeah, friendly to all, friends to some. Friendly to all, friends to some. Boundaries with anybody who can't be friendly back to you. That's important too. Those boundaries are going to help you. So all of these things will help you with your mental health. Do I do all these things? Most of them. Do I still struggle with mental health? Yes. Because it's a part of life. I'm doing Auntie in the car time? I guess so. I left my office because it stank. I'm coming over to Michael's to get a Cricut to go home and work on my bullet journal and work on our website. So, alright, that was Mental Health Talk Wednesday. I don't think that's going to be a thing, but it was. So, any comments that aren't like things, like personal things you want me to pray over? And I'm going to write those things down in my bullet journal so I can think about you guys and pray over you guys. Yeah, I had a feeling people needed it because I needed it, and I was like, if I need it, other people need it too, because guess what? I'm human, and that's what we all are. So this was great and much needed. Thank you. Some people aren't lifetime people. When their season is up, they have to go. Yeah, girl, they really are. That has been a struggle for me. Lifetime people are seasonal people who will leave your life, who were there for very positive, great reasons, and then it moves on. It comes from having abandonment issues. It's very hard to let people leave seasonally when you have abandonment issues. I speak that from personal experience. So we need each other. We're not meant to be alone, right? So seasonal people can be difficult. And for me, I have friends from elementary school that I still get together with and talk to. I have friends from high school. I know a lot of people don't hang out with people from their high school. My two best friends from high school, we still get together 3 times a year. We like to vacation together, do things together. I'm just one of those people who's like, if you're in for life. Like, this is a life sentence being my friend. So get over it. So anybody who's kind of like, I'm moving on now, I don't need to hang out with you that much. I'm like, wait, what? No, this isn't how this works. I'm me. We do this. We're life partners forever. So, it's a hard thing to grasp, but it's definitely needed. We've had small group leaders who invested into us in certain times of our life, who moved to other churches. That's been hard because those are people we definitely connected with and saw them as, these parental mentor figures and they moved, or we're at this season of life where a lot of our mentor couples are following their grandchildren. Like, what is that about? So I've had a couple mentors in my life, and even one of Briley's small group leaders who Briley was just in love with. She was like another grandmother to her. She went to Texas and to go be by her grandkids, and it's like, that doesn't mean it was a bad departure. It just means it was a departure, and it's not anything about you. It's literally just they were there for a season of your life, and we need to be grateful for that season, and then they're on to something else. So that has been hard, and definitely hard to compartmentalize when there are people in your life who definitely do leave you because they don't want to be around you, or they don't want to be in your life. And that's where we have power to go, I didn't cause that. If I did, I need to reconcile that. I need to figure out, what did I do to make that relationship strained? If I did something, apologize and forgive. But if there are people in your life who won't forgive you or reconcile with you, and you want that, you have to make boundaries emotionally. Remember, I kind of talked about that. I didn't say anything about it, but working on my emotional boundaries, like allowing myself not to be hurt by other people's choices, by other people's opinions, by other people's things, but letting those really close people really actually work on my heart. So like, if my best friend comes up to me and says, hey, you're being a jerk, for me to go, yeah, I am being a jerk. I need to work on this. But if somebody who doesn't like me says I'm being a jerk, it's going to be like, you don't even like me. Of course I'm being a jerk. Everything I say is being a jerk. So, yeah. Hard stuff, right? Hard stuff. I found the only shady place. No, there's some more shady places now. I found the only shady place to park in, so I'm not moving. Did something happen to you? No, I mean, a lot of things have happened to me in life. So I actually asked if you guys would want me to do a podcast versus writing a book. I've always wanted to write my life story, but my life story just keeps getting longer. Weird how that works, and more things happen, and God works through so many things, and I'm like, how long is this story gonna be, God? Like, how long is this book gonna be? So I was like, if I made a podcast, I could literally just talk about all of it, make seasons out of it. Season 1, birth through 5. I don't know. The world needs more of you. Oh, thanks. I can't write a book, though. I don't have time to write a book. Any ghostwriters out there? I've thought about getting a ghostwriter, but then that just feels so, there I am again with my perfectionism. I'm like, but I want to do it. I'm a control freak. Yes, a podcast. And then part of me is like, who really wants to listen to me that long? I know I don't want to listen to me that long. Do a podcast. Yep. I want to do a podcast, and I have 2 people who are very interested in doing podcasts with me. So one of the areas in the studio I'm setting up right now is like a cute little couch area podcast spot. So will we do it? I hope so. Podcast only if you have time. Don't overextend yourself, right? And ghostwriters are really expensive. I looked into it and I was like, it's really expensive to get a ghostwriter. But I don't even know. I won't even know. I would have to learn how to write a book, and then I'd have to go back to English so that I can write it and correctly. I mean, that's what an editor is for, but I don't know. It's not pretty, and it's not gonna be pretty, so I don't know if you want to hear about it, but don't overdo yourself, one step at a time. Right. One step at a time. Something I was working on this morning while I stopped by the river. I was like, what would you tell somebody else who was in this situation? In all the situations. Like, this week is weird because it's not really just one situation. It's just kind of like a bunch of these little piddly things that have been piling up that I'm like, ugh. That's what I told myself. That's what I would tell someone else, would be just take it one step at a time and give yourself grace. Stop overdoing it. So, I don't know. Never done podcast. Don't know how to get to. I don't know how to do a podcast either. That's the problem. But I feel like it'd be way faster to learn how to do a podcast than it would be to learn how to write a book and then sit down and write a book. It hurts, but sometimes you have to think of yourself before others. Yep. It's the me, us, them concept that is very hard for some of us to learn, especially as moms. But when you're on a plane and the plane is going down, or whatever, they lose cabin pressure, or whatever it is, you put your mask on first. Because if you pass out, who's going to take care of your kids? So, you, us, my family, so that I can take care of us, and this is actually and then we take care of the other people. This is actually a medical term too. Dustin used to be a paramedic, and it feels selfish when it's like, this is my family, I'm saving them first. But in the medical world, it's like, if a catastrophe happens and the medical staff is harmed, you make sure you're good first, because you're good for nothing if you can't do anything. And then us, the other people who can help, let's help them first. Let's build up that team back to make sure that we've got a strong team to help others. And then when we know we're all good, we move on to others. And that feels selfish, because especially like in the medical field, you're there because you want people to be better and to fix them and to help them. But when you're not good, like if something happens to you, you're good for nothing. You can't help anybody. So it's that metaphor, or that scenario, I guess. I've never been in that scenario. I'm not a part of the cast of Grey's Anatomy. So it was so hard to make the decision. I don't know if I'm over it, but I know I made the right decision for me. Right. I don't know what we're talking about. So I'll go back and read these. Okay, I'm gonna go, but I just thought I would hang out and chat. We will do crafting with the noob tomorrow, now that I know that the chemicals are all plant-based, as far as they say. So even if it smells, it'll just be in a nuisance smell. It won't actually be hurting my lungs. Because I still struggle with lung issues. I've not updated on that because that video went viral, and there's a lot of people on there who don't even know me commenting, who are like, see a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, I did see a doctor. I saw like 8 doctors, okay? We need C1. I know. I will make sure we do C1. Something is why. The Lord does not want C1 to happen. Or not, the Lord does. The enemy doesn't want C1 to happen. That means it's a good thing, right? It is, yeah. I understand, Dustin, I'm a retired paramedic. Tamra, are you there? Yeah. Okay. No, you're not. That was a firefighter. I'm thinking of someone in our membership. But yeah, so he's not a retired paramedic. He did paramedicine for like 2 years. And then he got called to being a pool boy. And then he got called to being a pastor. So thank you. I will try to stay strong. I'm going to leave you with this. Okay? Because one of my biggest pet peeves in life is seeing signs that say choose joy, or pick happiness, or you choose your happiness, or whatever it is, okay? Those signs drive me nuts. I'm going to leave you with this. Feel what you're feeling, talk about what you're feeling, and then choose joy. Because it's just like the movie Inside Out. You can't feel joy without sadness. Sadness is very important. So we're trying to teach our kids this. Can we learn it? Sadness, anger, fear. Fear's a bad one. We should really not fear, but there's healthy fear in life. Anxiety. Another thing I don't like is when people say, do you have anxiety? Yes. Some of us struggle with it more than others, but everybody experiences anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion, and you have physiological responses when your emotions are out of whack. So that's what an anxiety attack is. You don't choose that. You didn't wake up this morning to say, I want to be sad. You just woke up sad. So if you're sad about something, process, talk about it, figure out why you're sad, feel it, okay? That's the most important part, because if you do not feel it, people, and this isn't me, this is people for a long time now, have realized when we mask our feelings with choosing joy, or faking it till we make it, or substance abuse, we put a Band-Aid on a flesh wound or something. How do you say that? You put a Band-Aid on a severed arm. I don't remember how to say it, but you're not fixing anything by not feeling it. So feel it. Have a great cry, let it out, the hardest part is learning to manage your behavior with your emotions. You can choose your behavior. Not always can choose your emotions. Ellen DeGeneres says it best. Yes, I feel all those things. I'm alive. Yes, feel all those things. So be real, but be kind. You can choose kindness. You can choose to walk away. You can choose to let yourself have a moment. And a really powerful thing I've learned is, which I'm not always the best at, but I'm learning, is to just let people know I'm very angry right now. Like, if I walk into a room with my best friends and I say, I'm super angry right now, like, they already know, okay, let's have some grace for her. Let's also not push her buttons today. It's not the day to, like, joke around about things. Just being vulnerable and open about the feeling that you're feeling. You might not necessarily want to go into details of why you feel those way. Have safe people that you can talk about those things with. But it's important to feel and not allow yourself to bleed on the people who didn't cut you. Don't take it out on people who didn't do it to you. And also the people who did it to you, learn how to make boundaries so that they can't do it to you again. So that's what I'm leaving you guys with. I love all of you guys so much. I love that I have a place that I can come and say this stuff to you guys. And I hope that you guys are happy that you guys have a place that I've vetted. I know all these people are amazing people. Not all of you guys. I know some of you guys are new and welcome, and I hope that you guys feel like this community is something you can be a part of, because it is. We keep our drama to the crafting world, and we keep our hearts in unison of loving everybody on the internet, even if they're difficult. I chose to express my feelings and take my space. If a person cares, they will try to fix it. We cannot ever expect any human, I know I said I was going to leave you, but I'm going to leave you with some more stuff. We can never expect any human to fix our problems. There's not a human alive that can fix our problems. There's not a human that has the right answers. There's not a human that has have you ever been in those positions where someone says, what do you need right now? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know what I need. And they give you a solution like, let's go get ice cream, or let's go do this, or let's get our mind off of it, or let's do that, or let me just sit with you, or let me be your cuddle with you and watch a movie. You got it, Two Wild Roses, Tiff. Jesus is the only person who can sit next to you and fulfill you and give you everything you need. And sometimes it hurts because we want those people in our life to come and sit next to us and give us those answers and make us feel better. They're not gonna, even if they want to. That is so freeing, being somebody who wants everybody to feel amazing. Can I get an amen? Like, seriously, as a person who wants to make everybody feel better, I can't. And how freeing is that for me to go, but I know who can, and he doesn't want me to do it, he wants to do it. So I can point you to the person who literally will fill all those gaps and all those spaces that I can't do. My words and ice cream and movies and cuddles are never going to do that for you. So there's that. I'm going to leave you with that, actually. So I love you guys. Happy Wednesday. If you're watching the replay, I love you too. Join us. I will do more of these real talks because I know you guys love them, and we'll see. Maybe we don't even do podcasts. Maybe we just do real couch chats, and we just go live and we chat about these things. All right. I love you guys. Have a blessed day too. Love you.